I remember playing on teams, Super Bowl teams. You talking about the highs, like playing in a Super Bowl, and then knowing, okay, we got to try to repeat this next year, right? So I'm at the highest level, and there's 53 other guys who are at that same level. Well, my thought process is, that's over with. Yeah, we won it in January, but in March, guess what? We're back at it.
Yeah.
We're back at it. That wasn't the case for everybody. And that's one of the biggest problems I had. That's the biggest problem I had because I couldn't control the other 52 men that were in that room that weren't as passionate about the game as I was.
Hey, Darren.
Hey, Ben.
Did you see what happened the other day with Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp?
No, I did not. Of course not. It's social media, and I'm supposed to know all this stuff. What is it? What happened?
Dude, the biggest story in the world last Monday, they were down for 6 hours worldwide. All 3 apps.
And I didn't know about it.
And you had no clue.
I had no idea.
I know why you didn't have no clue because I saw you that day. You were running from meeting to meeting to meeting. You didn't have time to think about it.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, for 6 hours worldwide.
So Facebook, WhatsApp, and
Instagram, because they're all
IG,
they're all owned by
yeah,
Facebook.
Right.
Apparently there was a hacking of some sort.
Right. So those
down. Like you try to open up the app, nothing.
My
Nothing
wife
shows up.
probably.
Oh, think about
went
how
crazy.
many, literally billions of people were affected by that. The stock price dropped by billions of dollars for Facebook that day.
I should have bought.
You should have bought.
I wish I would have known.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it pays to be informed. It pays to be informed.
It pays to get.
The other thought I had was
notifications,
how much work production probably increased that day. Because you're not sitting there checking Instagram every 20 minutes. You're actually focusing on your job for the day. How many Instagram models thought,
my God, my world is over.
I got to get a job.
Yeah, I gotta get a real job. I'm curious to know, like my wife, that hits close to home because my wife is on Instagram a lot, and a lot of it's just for work and her product. She's a designer, architect, so she's always putting out content or pushing content out. I'm curious. She never said anything to me about that.
Maybe she was too busy too.
She's never.
But her
busy.
business though is partially.
It's her
such
business.
A great way to get your work.
That's what I'm saying. She hasn't broached that to me, so I'm surprised. I'm surprised to hear this news.
Yeah, it was in the middle of a Monday, so I'm thinking like she probably had a lot going on at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Were they hacked? What was the reason why?
That's what I read. It was either hacked or it was some other. They tried to explain initially that it was just a faulty. I don't know. I didn't read too much into it, but I'm just thinking about all the advertisers that lost money that day.
Yes.
All the people whose jobs, like think about social media coordinators at a job that has nothing to do with social media other than that job.
Yeah.
What do they do for those 6 hours?
The
world stopped.
That is
not
true.
literally,
and
but
honestly, as you know, I'll just talk specifically to my situation. Like there's a couple of groups that I represent, and there's times that I have to push out content on social media, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, or whatnot, and there's a deadline to that. So I'm curious to know how that would have worked.
Yeah.
Knowing that I had to push out this content by a certain time and I couldn't get there, my excuse would have been,
Extreme Ownership would say you should have posted it earlier.
No, that's not on me. The time says
that's not on me.
The time says 12. You have by 12 noon. It could be 11:58, and I'm pushing it out.
Yeah.
So
anyway, you literally had no idea. You still have no idea.
I had no idea, man. I had no idea.
Biggest story in the world.
Yeah.
And your life was not affected one iota.
Yeah. Listen, I get it. If I was in a job or if I was in a role in which whatever it is my profession was, I was reliant on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, then it would have directly affected me. But I'm not.
Well,
this
podcast is relying on those platforms.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it is.
Not technically though, because we're on YouTube was good.
Yes,
the podcast platform apps were good, so we were okay there.
We're okay. We're all right.
You can still listen to the Darren Woodson show.
That's good news. That's good news, though. I didn't know that.
What?
That you brought this to our attention. To my attention. That you're on top of these things. That's good. That's like, this is your job, man. You need to take this shit serious about knowing these things. I'm glad you are.
Or
I'm glad
alternatively, I'm the loser that was spending too much time worried about social media and not enough time working.
Oh, man. Hey, it's part of our life now. It's part of our world, right?
That's right. It's like we talked about last time. Hey, the world's changed, man.
The world's changed, and shame on me for not knowing.
Now, you were
this.
okay for 6 hours, but if I guarantee you, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp shut for life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a problem.
Your pocketbook's going to start getting affected by that.
Yeah, that'd be a problem.
Yeah.
But kudos to you for.
Well, I didn't do anything.
When did you figure this out?
So it went out at, I believe, 11:30 Central Time, and was out till like 3 or 4.
So you at no point in this time, in those 6 hours, were you on Instagram?
Well, the only reason I knew is because I tried to log on, and then whenever I tried to log on, it didn't work.
But you didn't.
I went and I Googled. I said, well, what's the deal? Because I figured if it's not working for me, it's probably not working for a lot of people. And
you did your investigation. You did your investigation.
I did some research.
Okay.
I took the 10 minutes to dive deep.
I would have been like, what the hell is wrong? That's it.
Yeah.
Done. No research and
So anyway, all is right with the world. They're back up and running.
That's good.
We're good. I can start posting my selfies again.
Yeah. Shirtless.
My shirtless selfies. Yeah.
The tea bag. Yeah.
The tea bag?
Tea bag.
What is the tea bag? Will, do you know what a tea bag is?
Panties.
I'm still
that thong panties. That thong thing you wear all the time. Okay. Yeah.
Well, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. But I figured you had no clue that happened, and I wanted to see. I wanted to get your live gut reaction. And basically you
means
said
absolutely nothing
to me.
Yeah,
it didn't bother me one bit.
That's the old head. That's the old man in me. Okay,
yeah, that's why. Yeah, 52-year-olds, you can't. What are we gonna do?
Life moves on, bro.
What are you?
The birds are chirping.
What are you still doing living?
That's what I'm saying, man. The birds chirp in the morning, dude. I'm just happy to be breathing.
Love it.
Yeah,
love it. Yeah. The topic on my mind this morning, and then I wanted to bounce off you because of your experience, and we're gonna do a 2-part series here, and we'll title it "How to Maintain the Hunger."
Right.
And in part 1, I want to talk about when you've tasted success, when you've seen good times. How do you maintain that hunger to keep driving forward and keep pursuing whatever it is that you're after?
Yeah.
And the scenarios I think of right now, I think of, America, for instance. I think of, in the past, we're top 5 in education. We're top 5 in, a lot of the metrics that they rank world countries on. And you look at our numbers now, we're in the high 20s, low 30s for education and infant mortality and things like that. And so I think of how do we maintain the hunger in society? Another scenario I think of is at your job.
Yeah.
You close a big deal. You win a big assignment. How do you now maintain the same hunger that you had before in sports? Same thing.
Yeah.
You sign a big contract.
Yeah.
How many $300 million baseball contracts have actually worked out well for the team? Not many.
Not many. That's right.
Right? You get this $300 million contract all guaranteed. All of a sudden, you're not staying after and hitting BP, and you're not, doing the extra film.
You become the fat cat.
You become the fat cat.
Yeah.
Fitness, right? You lose your weight. You get to your 15-pound goal. You've tasted success. Over 90% of people regain their original weight that they lost.
Right.
90%. That is mind-blowing.
Yeah. So many
you tasted the success.
Yeah.
So all of those. So in other words, this is not a scenario exclusive to one avenue of life or another. This touches every piece of your life.
Right. Right.
So my question to you, Darren, knowing your experience, you signed a big deal. You were the highest paid safety in the league. Let's go down that example for this instance.
Right.
You're the highest paid safety in the league. You just get this fat check, all this money. How did you maintain that? Because you didn't drop off immediately.
Right.
Now, age, obviously, Father Time's undefeated.
Right.
But it's not like you just all of a sudden your production stops.
So
how did you maintain that hunger?
I think there has to be a hunger. There has to be a passion associated with what you do. Because how many times have we seen these situations? Like, you're right. I mean, a guy gets paid in baseball $300 million and he never meets the expectations because he falls off or he's not as in tune. He's not taking BP by himself at 7 a.m. in the morning and doing the little things that it takes. So a lot of it is just core, within your core, and it's specifically with me. I would be lying if I sat here and said, I just played football just for the love of it. No, it was a lifestyle. It was, money that I'd never seen before in my life there were, that was thrown at me. There was a lot of fame. There was a lot that was associated with being an NFL football player. So I played the game for a lot of reasons, but mostly it was a game that I loved, man. It was something that I woke up every single day, and I didn't mind that 5:45 drive to Valley Ranch. I mean,
What was it about it?
It was a
that you loved
challenge.
So much?
It was the challenge in one-on-ones. It was the challenge of knowing that I was going to walk into the arena on Sunday and show my skill set. It was the way that it was how the grass smelled when you walked out there. It was the camaraderie. It was the locker room. It was the jokes. There was so much into this. Yeah, and in the end, there was a nice paycheck at the same time, and I come from nothing. Mm-hmm. So, I was living my life. I was living my lifetime dream. This was my dream since I was a kid to play in the NFL. So when I'm there, I was in the moment. I was just in the moment. This was my passion. I wasn't a doctor. I wasn't going to be a police officer. I wasn't going to be hanging shingles on the roof. This was my lifetime dream. This was my passion. This is what I was, pushing my entire life. Even when I retired, I was in tears because the baby was gone. Football was gone. So there was always that passion. So
do you remember when that started, like where that came from? Do you know why was it football that you were why couldn't it have been was this a conscious decision? Football is what I love.
Look, man, my mom used to tell me, or my sister, not my mom, my sister would tell me, I used to, and I did it forever. Even when I was playing in the league, I used to have a football, and I'd lay on my back all my life from 8, 9 years old, and I had this little Nerf football, and I would lay on my back and I just throw it up and down. You would never see me without a football in my hand. Even going to basketball practice, I had a football in my hand. I was just so engaged with the sport, and I was a Steelers fan growing up. I loved my Sun Devils, and I was in the Phoenix area. I was so ingrained in that world. Mm-hmm. Like baseball was not something I cared too much about. Basketball, I was like, oh, whatever. But that damn ball, that football, and that pigskin, I can't even explain. It's like, how you have a child and you see your child being born. There's like this love, like you just smile about it. That's how I felt about it. And even when I had my bad moments in football, I always know, hey, I can correct this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do whatever it takes. So that's how I felt about that game. So I didn't feel like, okay, I got the money and this was it. No, that was the luxury. Hey, I got a big paycheck. They recognized me for my skill set and my time spent. But the next day was the next day. And the next day I had to go cover Shannon Sharp. Right, the next day I had to go cover Steve Smith or Jerry Rice in the slot, and I better be ready, and I got to get prepared, and that's how I always felt about it, man. I never wanted to put a bad product on the field, and I think the sport was it was a passion, but it was a pride deal too, man. I mean, it really, we always talk about stroking your pride and your ego and all. This football was that for me,
yeah,
and it felt good because I knew I could play at a high level and whatnot, but that's what kept me going every single day was I wanted to be there. Mm-hmm. Now, vice versa, I remember playing on teams, Super Bowl teams. You're talking about the highs, like playing in a Super Bowl and then knowing, okay, we got to try to repeat this next year, right? So I'm at the highest level. And there's 53 other guys who are at that same level. Well, my thought process is, that's over with. Yeah, we won it in January, but in March, guess what? We're back at it.
Yeah.
We're back at it. That wasn't the case for everybody. And that's one of the biggest problems I had. That's the biggest problem I had because I couldn't control the other 52 men that were in that room that weren't as passionate about the game as I was. Because I instantly saw, and it wasn't just me. I remember a guy, number 88, Michael Irvin, being like, what the hell do you mean that you're not going to show up on time just because you got a Super Bowl ring? Like, what do you mean? Like, there were so many guys who they reached the mountaintop and they were like, okay, we're going to take some time off. We're the Dallas Cowboys. I'll be late for meetings this week. I'll be all right. And they took it for granted, man. And that's what I could not. Because it's just, and that's the asshole out of me. That's when I started to become a jerk, because I couldn't understand, if you got into the mountaintop, you know what it took to get there and the passion you had to have to get there. And now you reached it and now you're done.
Yeah. I want to dive into that in just a second. Mm-hmm. But before we get there, a place that you can be also on another mountaintop.
Choctaw Casino and Resort.
Casino and Resort.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Just an hour north of here in DFW. Short drive up to Durant, Oklahoma. Brand new expansion. Brand new 3,000 slot machines. It's like Disney World up there, man.
Yeah.
Resort pool. Restaurants for days. The sports bar.
Yes. The league.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know how many TVs they have in there.
Yeah.
But it is like wall to wall. Unbelievable.
It's the best place to watch a football game or watch a basketball game or whatnot, and just relax with your loved one and have a good time. And if you want, you just walk across and you can get to hit those slot machines and hit the tables or whatever you want to do. But the spa is something that this weekend I'll be going back up there, which is,
so we got to play Inception here, because
this is going.
So it'll be last weekend whenever you went up there.
Weekend, yeah. But I just can't wait to go back up. But we will be up periodically for the next 5 or 6 months, man. Mm-hmm. But it's just a great way to get away, a gateway to get away. Take your wife, take your loved ones. If you got to take your kids out to the pool, take them out to the pool. Mm-hmm. They have the cabanas out there. They have slides out there. There's just so much to do at Choctaw Casino and Resort.
Yeah, football season, like you said, the league. Go check out that sports bar, because there's no better place to watch.
Right.
I mean, Saturdays you got college football playing all day. Sundays, obviously, NFL. Like Darren said, we'll be up there on Sundays, mm-hmm. watching Cowboys and having a good time. So get yourself up to Choctaw Casino and Resort. Back to what you were saying before, though. What do you think it was about those individuals? Do you think maybe they happened to be good at football, but it wasn't their true desire?
Absolutely. Great football players that had gotten them there, but they were driven by other things, whether it be money or fame. It wasn't a true passion.
It wasn't a love for the game of football.
It wasn't a true love. And you know what, Ben? I'm guilty. I'm really guilty, because I couldn't understand then. But when football was over with and I didn't have that love and passion, I got it. I understood. Truly understood. Because there were things and professions I have done after the game of football that I was sort of the same way. Like, well, yeah, we had some success, but I don't need to show up at this meeting tomorrow. I don't need to do this and that. I just want a big deal. Like, I can take my foot off the pedal. And I couldn't relate to that when I was playing, but then in the end, how I really understood it and how I really looked back at it was, this wasn't their love. This wasn't their why. Mm-hmm. The why they woke up every single day to pursue greatness. A lot of guys, I'm not gonna say all, but a lot of guys, even at that level, who are making a ton of money, they're not passionate about it.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
It's a job.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it was a job for them. It wasn't
a job.
Everything.
And when it's a job, man, you're not going to be passionate about it.
Despite the success.
Despite the fame, despite the money, doesn't matter. The free
Isn't
meals.
That so interesting.
It just if it doesn't burn in you, you're going to give it a half-ass performance.
That's so fascinating to me.
Yeah.
But I get it, because I've lived through that personally in other avenues. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I get it that you can be seeing all the success, quote unquote success, what people deem as success, which is money and fame and all that. And yet you still just don't quite have that hunger to keep pushing.
Yeah. And it's the same thing. Like, you watch people that are not just in football, in the business world, that are, just talented beyond belief. Like, how many times have you been around someone that has such a skill set and such a talent?
They just think differently.
Yes. Maybe it's a great singer, maybe it's a great producer or whatever it may be. And they're really skilled at what they do, but they don't really have a passion. It's not what an artist, I can draw, but I just don't live this.
Yeah.
And that's when you see the ebbs and flows in their careers. It's the ones that are that artist that, hey, doesn't matter what the money looks like. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing it because I passionately wake up and I'm dreaming about creating art at night. That's the person that's going to remain successful.
Yeah, and I don't want to go down the whole free will discussion, but my mind's been open to that world of you don't choose what you're passionate about.
That's right. I agree now, man. I really agree.
Like I used to think differently. I used to think that you have agency over literally everything, but you didn't choose. You said it. I don't remember where the love started for football.
Right.
You didn't choose necessarily to love football. Now you chose to work on that love and build on that love, but the initial spark, you can't explain where that came from.
No, I don't.
And so for others, it's art. Like you said, they stay up at night dreaming about their next painting. They can't explain why. They just are that invested. It doesn't matter. I'm living in a freaking 1-bedroom closet, but I just love this so much. To me, that's the golden ticket in life. That's how you've unlocked all that life has to offer for you from that perspective. Is that you are doing something day in and day out that you're just on fire for.
Yeah.
And you've happened to find a way to compensate. Now, luckily in 2021, this is more evident than ever. This is more, the opportunity is more out there than ever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
1980, maybe you did have a super passion for art, but you literally couldn't make any money. So you had to work that 9 to 5. That 9 to 5, or you had to work that shift work, that job at the grocery store. Because you just couldn't support you. 2021, social media, like we talked about earlier, things have changed. So
many
you
more
can.
platforms, yes.
Now, obviously, if you got kids, your risk assessment is going to be a little bit different depending on your scenario.
Yes.
But you are able to chase these passions more than ever.
Yes. Yeah, agreed. And because there's so many different platforms.
Because there's so many ways that you, now more than ever, the saying, hey, do what you love, the rest will take care of itself. It rings more true now than ever. Now, I get it. I'll be the first to raise my hand and say I'm still scared to take that step and truly pursue, because I don't see how it can produce for my family. I've got 2 kids at home. I don't see it. So there's still that nervousness.
Yep.
But I guarantee you the success will come because I don't have to be told to wake up early to pursue this.
That's right.
I don't have to be told to stay up late. I don't have to be told to put in the extra hours on my lunch break.
It's what you do.
Nobody has to tell me to do anything.
It's within the fabric of what you do.
It is in my DNA to pursue this. I think about when I was a trainer. Now, life took me on a different path, so I'm not a trainer anymore. But when I was a trainer, I was obsessed with the idea of being the very best trainer I could possibly be. Right. I don't know why. I don't know where that comes from. But for whatever reason, that was my obsession. Didn't matter how much money I made. Didn't matter how many clients I signed. Didn't matter how much knowledge I attained. I always wanted more.
Okay, let me ask you a question then. Because in the pursuit of being a trainer, you have to bring on clientele, right? Was it ever the fear of once you really started getting going and you were so passionate about it, did things just start happening for you?
Absolutely.
It wasn't like you had to just go catch somebody out on the stairwell, in the stairwell or on the treadmill and say, hey, you want to work out? Like
they start coming to you.
They start coming to you.
You start attracting it to you because you're just so on fire for it. I mean, everybody can see it.
Right.
Like that guy right there loves what he does. He knows what he's doing and he is super passionate about it.
Yep. And
so it turned from that's why the whole work hard and grind, and I'm putting air quotes if you're not watching on YouTube. I've always had an issue with those phrases because I never once thought of training as working hard or grinding.
Right.
It didn't feel that way. Because I loved it so much. Football was the same way for me.
Right.
I didn't mind staying after practice and running extra routes because that's just what I did. Like I just loved it. And so an outsider perspective who doesn't, for whatever reason, they weren't blessed with that desire for football.
Right.
They would look at it and say, man, that dude's grinding. That dude's working hard.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just doing what I do.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like work.
This is who I am.
So it doesn't matter the success I see. I just want more and more and more. Right. That's how I maintain the hunger in that scenario because I don't see it that way.
Yeah.
I just see it as I really love working out.
Right.
I really love catching passes. I really love watching film, maybe not so much, but but my point is I'm willing to do all of these little things to keep me moving forward. Whereas your point, what you're saying earlier, I couldn't agree with you more. If it's something I'm not, because I've had jobs where I didn't like at all, and I would do the very bare minimum. I'm ashamed to say that. I wish I could say I've always put 100% effort. That's bullshit. I've never, I can't think of anything where I've always, no matter the scenario.
Yeah, I'm just going to go 100.
Right.
Yeah,
I've had jobs where I did just enough to excel, to do well, to get praise, quote unquote, because that's just part of my personal pride.
Right.
But if I'm being honest with myself, I could have given more.
Man,
I just wasn't into it.
I tell you, you sound like me when I was at ESPN. That's exactly how I was. Everyone told me when I got the job at ESPN, they were like, man, that is a great job, right? And I sucked, man. Dude, I sucked. When I didn't know. I had no background or history on TV. Like, I was cutting my teeth early on. And
so you say you suck. Outsiders, though, you were great on TV.
No. When I first got on air, my first couple years, I got better as time went because the pride kicked in. It was, okay, I can't be this bad on TV. I have to get better. But then there were guys that I was working with, and this speaks directly to passion. I worked with two guys. One, Mark Schlereth, was a guy that early on when I came on, dude, this is what he loved. He just loved TV. Like, the lights came on. But even before the lights came on in the green room, he and Trey Wingo, those are the two, man. It was a passion. TV was a passion for them. The preparation, the banter going back and forth in the green room beforehand, the interviews, like they didn't have to look at the rundown that we had.
They knew
it was like, man.
And I'm guessing you didn't have to call those guys on a Sunday afternoon and say, hey, are you watching football?
No, they would break down tape. And then Teddy Bruschi was the next one after those guys. They were so passionate about it. That was never my passion. Like, if I wasn't actually participating in the game, I was like, well, what the hell am I doing sitting here talking about or preparing about the Jacksonville Jaguars in week 14? Who gives a shit? They're 2-14. Like, I don't have any passion to watch them and talk about the Jacksonville. And I'm watching these guys that love doing what they're doing, and I was like jealous because I saw the passion. And there's a reason why they are so good. And there's a reason why they're still in TV right now to this day. Because they weren't guys that were professional, skateboarders, or they had these other jobs outside of what they were doing. They were hyper focused on one thing because they were passionate about it. And there's a reason why they're so successful nowadays. And I couldn't, and there's a reason why I tapped out. Because at some point throughout that process, even though I was on TV, even though you were good, and it was good pay and all that, I was faking the good.
No, but even though you were good at it.
Yeah, I was faking the good. I was okay. I don't want to say I was always good. I'm not even going down.
From an outsider's perspective, somebody who didn't have your perspective of being on the inside, from an outsider, you were great at it.
Yeah, but I had to really work. Like, this was work.
Yeah.
To sit down and be on the plane and going, God, I don't want to open this laptop up and look at the Jets right now and read through their like, I wasn't feeling it.
And that's why it's so fascinating to me, because I know how you were compensated financially for that job. Yeah. And so I'm sitting back from my perspective thinking, okay, he gets to watch NFL games. He gets this salary for doing that. He gets to go to ESPN and hang out with people that, most people would love to hang out with.
Yeah, great group of people.
How can he not?
Best group of people.
How can he not maintain the hunger to do that?
Yeah. Just wasn't in me.
I'm having a mind blown moment.
And I know our listeners are probably saying the same thing, because I've had so many, but my brothers were like, dude, how can you not? You're still around the game. Just, I wasn't walking down that tunnel anymore, man. And I was, that passion was gone. Just, and I, now, and that's when I started to understand, when I was, when we were winning Super Bowls, and I was trying to understand, well, why aren't these guys showing up? We got a chance to win 4, 5, 6 straight Super Bowls. Why aren't they all the way in? Well, this wasn't their passion. This wasn't their love.
I got a question for you, but I do want to speak about some other people that have a passion and a love, and it shows, and that's our friends at Sleep Number.
Yes.
And the technology they've incorporated It's no longer just your box spring in your mattress that you just get at Walmart or wherever. I don't know where you got your mattresses going. Does Walmart even sell mattresses?
No, I don't think I'm not sure they do, Ben. But like,
the point is,
right.
They've taken it to 10x the level with their technology.
Yep.
Heart rate, respiratory rate. They can test your movement. They can give you all this data based on the technology they've incorporated in their mattresses to allow you to have a better night's sleep. We all know the next day sucks.
Yes.
When you don't get a good night's sleep.
That's right.
Your production, literally getting a good night's sleep literally can make the difference in your salary every single year.
Exactly. Yes.
So I get it. Yeah. This is expensive, whatever. It's an investment, man.
Yes.
Because if you can take care of your sleep, you're going to be more productive the next day at work.
It's about your recovery. And we talk about recovery. And if you're in the mental health world or the physical health world, recovery is everything. And Sleep Number provides that recovery. Yeah, we can talk about the data. We can talk about the software. We can talk about how comfortable the bed is. But in the end, it's about recovery. So if you have a chance, go to sleepnumber.com. Take a look, or a local Sleep Number, and just take a look and invest in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Go check them out. The question I was going to ask you, and I want you to be real.
I'll be 100. Go ahead.
You're 50. I get this wrong. I'm 52. Mm-hmm. You retired at 36. God, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. That's a long career. Yeah. Have you found anything that replicates the desire you had in those 13 years playing?
No.
Or longer, but.
Look, I think the closest thing that I would say that gives me that fire or that tingle, there's something about walking, and I always talk about it, is walking down the tunnel before the game and knowing you're about to compete at the highest level. And having doubt. There's like this whole deal. You got this doubt. You've even prepared and you've got all this doubt and you're like, man, this is anxiety. And then you start getting to the end of the tunnel and you go, you know what, dude, I'm prepared, man. And I'm looking at my teammates. They're barking in the tunnel. And it's like that feeling of, man, it's us against the world. Like, we're going to go out here and battle. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no feeling like that. I have never replaced that feeling. Like, having my children is the greatest joy in the world as a father. But as an individual, walking down that tunnel for a game is like, I can't replace that feeling. The only thing I've gotten close to, and that's not even, I wouldn't even say it's close. It's when I've gotten up to do speeches in front of large crowds. Mm. And it's that point where most of the time I don't have the nerves until I sit down or I'm standing there and I'm waiting to go onto the stage. And it's when that CEO or CFO does their announcement and then they say, hey, here to speak is, former Dallas Cowboy. They do the whole introduction and then they say, Darren Woodson. And then that's the part where I get
flashback.
Woo! Like, I just feel like it's game time. Like, that's when the chills come up and I feel like, all right, this is the closest thing I'm getting to a competition, but it's not even close, man. Like the mental preparation, the physical preparation, it's totally different. But if you ask, what's the closest moment? That's it. Other than that, no, there's nothing out there that can replace.
Do you think there is anything out there? Could be like if a genie said, hey, you can literally do anything.
I think it would have to be me in a role where I am absolutely changing lives. Whether it be whatever community service it is. And in particular, it would probably have to be in an education format for kids where I know that I'm making a difference every single day. That is probably the only thing I could honestly feel like could be a part of me that I'm like fulfilled, like I'm fulfilling something. Because, working a job or owning a business right now in my life, I don't know if there's that type of passion. Like even the businesses that I'm in right now, yeah, I love what I do. I love the people that I'm with, but do I burn? Does it burn deep, deep, deep within me? No. Mm-hmm. The reason why I do this business is because I want to benefit people. I want people within our office to have a healthy lifestyle and put their kids in school and to provide, food and on the table. That's the reason why I do the jobs that I do now. And I own the businesses I own right now.
And that segues perfectly into my next question and point for you was maybe the subject matter is not what you're just truly burning for.
Right.
But you found a component. You found an element of that subject matter, helping people that you can burn for. So maybe you are in a job or you're doing a role that you just don't absolutely burn for. So how do you maintain the hunger? Because even in those scenarios, you can still win. You can still have success.
Yeah.
But you just don't burn for it. So what element of that do you burn for?
I'm glad you say that. I burn, akin. Let me go back here. Roger Staubach is a guy who's a mentor of mine. He's been in the commercial real estate business forever, and there's a reason why I'm in the commercial real estate business is because of that mentoring and whatnot. And there are a number of other people as well.
Which you've never introduced me to him, by the way. I appreciate that.
You don't deserve that. Anyway, so, but I've had so many conversations with Roger over the years, and it was never about Roger. Like he never said, well, this feels good because I can do this and I'm going to make this kind of money. I'm going to do this and this and that. It was the people around him. And the people around him just enjoyed who he was because he was pouring back into them. And our company right now that we both work for spawned off of the Staubach company. And you talk to any of our leaders that are within our group that work for Roger, they'll tell you the same thing. Like, he worked for them. They didn't work for him. He poured into them. And Roger will tell you in a heartbeat, yeah, man, he was showing up at funerals, showing up at weddings because he loved people. And he was a people pleaser. He was a people person. And that's where I think I fall in line because that's where his joy was. He wasn't getting his joy back on the football field like he used to, but he found that little small piece within that business that he felt like, I can hold on to this. And I can really change people's livelihoods and educate people and pour into them with that little nook. And I think that's where I'm going now. That's where I am in my life right now. I just want to make a little dent in those people because I know one day when Roger's not here, man, he's going to be missed. He's really going to be missed. And he will never be forgotten because of how much he poured back into the community.
Yeah, so I think you're answering it. So when you think about how you maintain your hunger now, because let's just put it out there, you've made enough.
Yeah. No, I haven't.
Well,
never have.
You've never made enough. Yeah. But to survive,
right.
your basic needs are met.
Yeah.
Right? So you could choose anything you wanted to do at this point. You're not beholden to any one job because of the money.
Right.
Necessarily.
Right.
So I say that to say, how do you maintain your hunger now? How do you maintain that desire for success now? I think you're answering it, but I want to.
Yeah. How do I maintain that? I maintain that by seeing others, that I can lift others up and others can lift me up at the same time, man. Whether Tyler always called it the rising boat, with the rising tide.
The rising tide rises all boats. Or the tide rises, whatever.
We miss Tyler. Anyway.
R.I.P.
But I feel like there's this something that burns into, even doing this podcast, man. I want to see us be successful. Couldn't do this by myself, man.
No, you couldn't.
I couldn't do this by myself. I can't do anything. Honestly, Ben, in my entire life, it's always been a team moment for me. I haven't done anything by myself and been successful at it individually, right? So I get that part of it. And I want to see others not only just, like, it's like that impact. Like, it's that rock that hits the ground. Like, I want to be that rock that hits the ground and then reverberates and affects so many other people, like you and Tyler and guys that I work with in my office at ESRP. Look, if I can open up doors and provide for them, like, I want to see that. That's joy to me.
That's how you maintain your hunger.
That's joy. That is complete joy, is when you're seeing your work benefit so many others. So I'm going to continue to pursue. I'm going to continue to do whatever I can, because, selfishly, it provides good things for myself, and it's a good feel good from within for me. But it also, I'm visually seeing the impact that I can possibly have on others. So that's what I'm thirsting for.
So what I've heard you say today, when the question is posed, how do you maintain the hunger despite success? I've heard you say, I just have to be passionate about it.
Yeah.
It's just got to burn within me.
Yep.
Because despite the success, I'm still going to stay extra and do the little things that continue propelling me forward. And then the other thing is you turn attention to other people.
Yep.
So if I want to maintain the hunger, it can't be all 100% about me.
It can't be about you.
It's got to be about how is this affecting others as well.
That's right. What's the greater good? What's the greater good? I mean, are we on this earth to just live our lives for ourselves? Don't we have families and friends that we want to affect? I mean, is being a hermit, is that an impact? Is it? I mean, and that's how I feel like that's how I continue to trying to find what it is that I can do that can impact others. So yeah, have the greatest success, whatever it is, but it doesn't stop there, man. It doesn't, because, you know, I went through a situation, you and I had a conversation yesterday, just the other day, about you can be at your highest moments, and in the next 10 minutes, you're at your lowest moment. You just are. Or vice versa. You're at your lowest and then you're at your highest moment. Either way. But how is it that you can continue to burn in a certain way? What is it within your core values that you can tap into to say, okay, I've had success. Now I'm going to stay with these core values and I'm going to continue along that success. How do I tap into that? ESPN was not a part of my core values. Sorry, because that was more individual. ESRP is a part of my core values as a commercial real estate, because I'm impacting people. And that's the key. That's the key to my success, to maintain some semblance of success. It's like, I'm not going to fall off the ladder. I've had some success. I want to keep it that way. And the only way I can do that is if I'm thinking about others.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we flip it to society and think about the culture going forward, you know, we opened up with the stats that, you know, education is worse now than it was before. I think what you're saying applies to that as well, that chasing things that you're truly passionate about, but the more important thing is, how are you impacting other people? Because we've had a run where, for the most part in America, that this has been a great country to live,
right,
for most people. And things are starting to change a little bit. Other countries are starting to catch up. So if we want to maintain that, if we want to stay hungry despite our success, it's exactly what you're talking about. It's finding people to impact.
Yeah.
And we talk about it. We've talked about it before. It's getting involved with your local school board, because those decisions have an impact on the next generation.
That's right.
It's doing community service, serving the hungry, serving the poor, serving even, you know, National Breast Cancer Foundation, right? You're giving hope to people who are going through a tough time.
Right. Right.
So those are the things that are going to get our society back on track, because we're taking the focus off of us and putting it back out on others.
Yeah. Agreed.
And that's how we maintain the hunger despite our success as a country, is that we continue to focus on other people.
That's right.
I think we've gotten away from that a little bit. I'm just as guilty. I start to get super invested in what I'm doing day-to-day life. And the dangerous part of that is I can live a pretty good life doing that.
Right. Right.
It's going to be lonely. It's not going to be as fulfilling, but I can survive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can do my thing by never once pouring in anybody else. Yeah. But how much more can I do if my thoughts turn outward?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I start to think about other people.
Let me ask you this. And you've been directly affected by this. How much do your mom and dad love life?
Love life?
Love life.
I think they love it a lot.
Okay. What's been their entire life? What have they done their entire life?
Serve people.
Wasn't about the money. Wasn't about bringing in. Yeah. It just wasn't, right?
They've committed their life. Now, in this scenario, it's a religious aspect. Yep. So whether you're religious or not, it still applies.
That's right.
For us, it's a religious aspect of they dedicated their life to spreading the gospel,
right,
and serving others.
And they've been passionate.
about it.
And that's all they do. And look how much joy they have, and look at the success they've had with their kids and whatnot. That's, you know, I mean, look, we all go about it and we measure success however we want to measure it. And we all, you know, there's a lot of us say, well, success is money. No, success is not always money. Success to me is, you know, I've found my passion. I found whatever it is that makes me burn every single day, and that people can see it. They can see me burning that way, and I'm impacting them. I'm an impact, and I've changed lives. And your mom and dad, dude, have changed lives, and they know it. Mm-hmm. That's their love.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're wondering, how do I maintain success? How do I maintain the hunger despite success, mm-hmm. or along with the success? It's find something that you're truly in love with,
right,
and freaking pursue it relentlessly.
Agreed.
You won't have to be told to do that. You don't have to be coerced. You don't have to be prodded. When you find it, you'll know.
That's right.
And we're all different. That's different for each and every one of us, what we find enjoyment in. But that would be my hope that people take away from this is I'm going to pursue what it is that I'm super passionate and hungry for.
Dude, you just dropped the mic.
Drop the mic. We appreciate you guys. Make sure that you go subscribe and do the whole YouTube thing, likes, comments, all that good stuff. Let us help grow our channel that way. Our production's about to take a step up. It is. We've got some actual professional help from
good cameras,
from a camera setup.
Yeah,
it's no longer three freaking
up.
apes just trying to figure it out. We've actually got some good help coming forward. So you'll see our YouTube, our whole social media thing take a jump. We're also at Darren Woodson Show on Instagram. Those are the only two that we're really super active on. So go follow us there for more.
And follow us individually as well.
Yeah.
Follow us individually. Like Instagram is not down for 6 hours, right? They're not down anymore. So
no, they're good.
We're good now.
We're back up.
We're back up. Damn, because I was posting. You should have seen how many posts I put out.
Dude, you had like 3 teed up in those 6 hours.
I was gold in that moment. It was down. But yeah, just tune into the show. We just appreciate you guys listening in. And again, if you got comments, please send us good comments.
Yeah.
And
keep your bad comments to yourself.
Keep your bad comments to yourself. But thanks.
5-star ratings. Yeah, all the podcast apps. Literally, I know we say this every time, but it really does help us out. It helps us get more exposure when you guys help share the show. And that's the best way that we can grow this thing is for you guys sharing. So we appreciate you guys that do that. Come back next week. We're going to do our second installment of Wellness Wednesday. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that last week. We're going to build off last week and talk about step number 2, which is going to be revolved around sleep. It's a little teaser there.
Sleep number.
Yeah, a little sleep.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to finish up part 2. So today we talked about, obviously, how to maintain the hunger through success. Next week, we're going to talk a little bit more about how do you maintain the hunger when you're not seeing success, when the results aren't quite as tangible. You talked about in this episode, you love seeing the impact, actually seeing the impact you're making on people.
Right.
What if you don't actually see the impact?
That's a good one.
Right?
That's a good topic.
What if you're not getting the income that you're after? It's something you really love.
Right.
Like you're into it, but you're being defeated mentally because you're not seeing results immediately.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about next week. So come back, guys, for part 2. That's all I got. You got anything else?
No, man. No.
Any other?
Hey, have a great day. Have a great weekend, and pour into other folks.
Love it. Thanks, guys.